Just Between Us, a channel where we never watch the news and have no idea what's going on.
That's a lie. Let me give you guys a setup. It's 5:47 p.m. on November 6th as we record this. We're doing it on QuickTime because I didn't bring the microphone because I've been working since 7 in the morning. And this is what we're giving you here, sort of an unvarnished reality.
Yeah, because normally it's really polished.
Well, no, I'm talking about us. Like, we come to this channel, we play characters, okay?
We haven't been done that for years.
Oh, you haven't? Anyway, we're laughing because we're so tired and also so upset.
Yes, so obviously, look, we're not going to have anything amazing, life-changing to say, but we did just want to say that there...
I know, you've really gone through it.
I was just thinking about, like, the difference between my life in July versus my life now.
Yeah.
Like, it's absurd.
Yeah.
And, like, just now getting used to, like, worst case scenario, like, continuously happening.
Well, we could talk about that. That's something that we've both talked about sort of preparing for the worst, or in our minds being like, you know what, probably the worst will happen.
But, like, I did so much work
to not think that. I know.
But now I'm getting really good at acceptance of just like, oh yeah, this happened.
Now, my question is, what is the difference between acceptance and numb?
I think I'm numb.
Yeah.
It is important to say that despite what happened and despite all of these people that voted for things that are really hard for us to comprehend, there are almost as many people that voted the other way, and that there is still so much good in the world, and that good does prevail. And even if you feel like you have been abandoned or like tossed aside by like important people in your life, there are other people out there that do care about you, that want you to live with dignity, that want you to thrive, that want to protect you. And I think that right now we might all need a bit of rest before we fight again. Like, I feel like I need to check out a bit.
Well, you have an excuse. You have some personal reasons, excuse. You know what I mean? Like, it's been a lot for you personally.
Why? What happened? Classic dead mom joke.
Oh my god. I did say that the one thing that I believe in anymore is you and John's marriage. That's it.
That was very nice.
That's all I believe in.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I think nothing bad will happen.
And what if it does?
Well, I think, okay, let me rephrase. I think it won't be something of your two doing.
Oh, just like one of us will like die tragically or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Right.
Or, you know what, it's funny? It's like die tragically is such a funny phrase. Because do you die non-tragically?
Well, I think there's a big difference between going to the funeral of someone that's like 100 and someone that's like 12.
Sure, I guess that constitutes tragedy.
Like,
but
when someone dies really old and they've had a full life and they've been surrounded by family, and like loved ones, that I think there's like a sense of like this was a life well lived.
What if at any point that I die, I want it to be like he died non-tragically? Doesn't matter when. He died hysterically.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is,
he died. What's the opposite of tragic? Blessedly.
My mom's death was not peaceful.
No, that's a tragic one for sure.
No, but I'm saying the actual death.
No, I know.
Yeah.
No, I know.
And one of my sister's friends had written up like the original copy for her donation page for the CJD Foundation, and just like very kindly had written like died peacefully in her home surrounded by family. I edited that out because it was horrifying and not peaceful at all.
I think what you do is great because you are people feel pressure to say stuff like that about their own like things that they've gone through, like their own parents' deaths and stuff. They feel pressured to present it that way for the comfort of other people. But I actually think what's comforting to other people is the truth for people that have gone through what you've gone through.
Right, and then if it's like, then like if they were to go through it in the future, they'd have like a reference point.
Exactly.
Like, sometimes it's not the way that it's presented.
Yes, exactly.
But yes. Okay. Anyway, look. Obviously, things are very different now. I find that my entire view of humanity and America has changed.
Yeah. Mine, I mean, I knew. I really did. I really
Well,
knew
to me,
because
there was like a difference between him winning and the way he won, and then him winning the popular vote. Him winning the popular vote is like very deeply distressing to me.
I've seen some stuff that's like he didn't get more votes than he did in 2020. She just got less.
Is that true?
That's what I've heard. But I don't know. I wonder if that's also just like Monday morning quarterbacking. Like,
right. I feel like it's like we're obviously recording this like too soon before we know enough breakdowns and whatever, and I have found myself that today, like, I just wanted to make sense of it. Like, I just like didn't understand how so many. I just like didn't understand how so many people could be voting for him, especially so many people voting against their own interests in their own communities, and their own family members. And after listening to quite a bit of New York Times audio content, we're talking the Daily, we're talking opinions, we're talking weird articles read by an automated voice. I now feel like I get it, and I don't think it's like one reason that happened, and I do like have a greater understanding of like the different elements that aligned, and I think also just like the huge impact of COVID, and how I guess like after like the Spanish flu of 1918, like how that actually like led to a push towards fascism, and how like I think just like really taking into account like how COVID just like fucked up everyone, fucked up the society, and like and there is obviously an undercurrent of racism, of sexism, of othering that like is still the heart of his campaign, but there's all these factors, including like a bit how Democrats run and how the messaging and like and just like that, like now I like kind of understand, and for weirdly that makes me feel like less agitated.
Well, Democrats have abandoned their base. I mean, I have no love for Bernie Sanders, but he did say that today. He did say that they've abandoned the working class base, but I would argue they've abandoned liberal policies in a way because they've become increasingly centrist. And I think, look, if Biden had gotten into office and had, done all the stuff, healthcare, like, I mean, I guess it's an uphill battle because you're going against the Senate or whatever, but if he had done all this stuff that he had, said, and if she had come out, and I understand that I know politics. Actually, I know some stuff is a hard.
Domestically, he was a very progressive president. The issue was inflation. The issue was just an inflation that was in so many ways outside of the democratic control, outside of the president's control. It was happening all over the world. The issue was the messaging around what to do about it and why it was happening. And I think that that's where they fucked up.
And then, the messaging about a lot of stuff. Like, I saw, like, again, it's hard to be like, and she didn't X, Y, and Z when he's literally a convicted felon.
And it's not just her, right? It's like across the board, everyone's moved right on like so many things.
The Democrats should, like, I know it's a risk. It's a huge risk. But, like, they really could have come out more swinging. It's a risk. It's a risk to come out really swinging left. I get it. In this, because you're trying to court an increasingly right-wing, like, thing in the community. But, like, there are things that I feel like would have swayed.
Well, they didn't present how they were going to fix the problem. They just said Trump will make it worse. It wasn't like...
That's what I'm saying.
It wasn't like, we agree this isn't working. We agree there's a problem in this country, and here's how we're going to fix it. It was like, no, the economy's actually doing fantastic, and Trump's dangerous. And it's like, okay, yes, if you are an economist or just like very well versed in economy, you would say, yes, America is doing incredible. But if you are just an average person, an average voter whose cost of living has gone up and the inflation is still hurting them, even though technically it's now cooled, that messaging doesn't connect with you. And then there was just so many factors at play. There was so much anger that he played into.
Well, it's reactionary. It's like, like instead of being like, no, I stand with queer people. I stand with trans people. I will never abandon trans kids. I will never, you know what I mean? It was like him being like, and they're going to make all kids trans. And then Kamala had to be like, I'm not going to do that. And it's like, ignore him. Just like do your, I don't know. I'm not a strategist, but I think there's a lot of fear.
Inflation was what killed us.
Maybe, but I also I have kept a very close eye on a lot of the social issues of it all. And they have done such a good job of making it seem like DEI and trans people are ruining children. Like people, like the way that abortion is a boogeyman, this stuff has started to become the new hot boogeyman. And it already is. And I really think that swayed a lot of people. Like even people that I would look at the articles and read the articles, and it would be kind of centrist positions, and I'd be like, I can see how you got there. And then they would lose me completely when they would start being like, and trans people. And I'd be like, whoa, oh my God, these things are connected in their minds. Like, it would be like, things are too expensive because everyone's focusing on trans people. You know what I mean? Like, it would go towards that kind of thing, where it would sway towards like, oh, you would say inflation. And they'd be like, oh, well, the reason there's inflation is because they're not getting the jobs that they were supposed to get because Black people get them. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of they did a really good job of tying all the social issues together.
Look, like we'll be analyzing what happened for centuries to come if we're lucky enough to have that. But in the meantime, it's like, I think we just have to take care of ourselves and take care of each other and not, completely lose hope. The one thing that will happen is that these people will now see what it's like to live under Trump policies.
I know. Just Tom just posted something about that.
And I do think that the reality of a Trump-run world, people will not like that.
No, the people that voted for him won't like that.
My concern is, will that be too late? Will it then be too late to have fair? Will it be too late to have fair elections to undo what we've done?
Yeah.
That I'm not clear about, but since I'm not clear about it, who knows? That could happen. And I think just like focusing on our communities, letting yourself, if you need the break to rest, to rejuvenate, to then come back swinging, like that's okay, that's fine.
Yeah, Just Tom's thing was like, they're not even gonna like it. Like, do you enjoy eating a hamburger? Because guess what, you're not gonna be able to do that soon.
Oh,
do you enjoy being able to touch other people? You're probably not gonna be able to do that soon. Do you enjoy like all the stuff with like because of like diseases and COVID and like whatever, like all this stuff where they're like you're not, because they're getting rid of vaccines. You know what I mean? So it'd be like,
no, the policies
like you're not gonna have a better life. Yeah,
are horrible.
Your life will be worse.
His economic policies are going to be hugely detrimental to everybody, especially all these lower income people that voted for him. Like it'll be great for the rich. It'll be great for people that have a ton of money in the stock market, but like that's not a lot who voted for him.
Yeah.
And so time will tell, and a lot of people are going to get hurt along the way who did not vote for him and who did not want this, and that's what's really tragic. And so, I think that it's easy to go to a place of like, well, you get what you asked for, but like we have to remember that so many of us did not ask for this, and we're all going to feel the repercussions.
Yeah, I'm gonna start hoarding testosterone, I think.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. And I was saying this to you earlier. I was like, what a time for me to be trans and for you to be trying to get pregnant.
Check back in 2 to 4 years.
Oh God, can you imagine? And we post this, and then we do check in 2 to 4 years, but it's like me and you on like a Mad Max truck, just kind of going through the desert.
You've detransitioned forcefully, and I have 7 children, but recently died in childbirth.
Oh no!
Also, lean into the humor. Sometimes humor is what got me through my mom dying, and humor might be what gets us through this. But only if the jokes are really funny.
I'm trying not to. I don't know how to explain the Judaism of we're not minimizing. This is sort of how we deal with stuff. This is sort of our culture.
This is our culture.